Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. Among today's most important news, first is Bushra Ansari Sahib versus Captain Imran Durrani of the Pakistan military. Yes, just yesterday, we presented a video message of Bushra Ansari Sahib, in which, without naming anyone, she gave an important message to Field Marshal Sahib and his colleagues. Without naming anyone, she said that she wanted to send a message to the big men of Pakistan that if only you had shown a little more respect for Pakistan's two mothers, Dr. Yasmin Rashid and Amma Rehana Dar, the entire Pakistani nation would have praised your manliness. She said a lot without saying much. She said as much as people these days cannot even say. Her message hit the right place, and you can say it was delivered to the correct address. Because right after that message, people started sharing it all over social media, whether Twitter or Facebook. There was a flood of that message everywhere. People were commenting on it, mocking it. It had become a viral video on social media, and to counter it, a message was issued from the other side. That message is from Captain Imran Durrani, an officer in the Pakistan military, who seems to be an officer of ISPR. A video message from her was released with the aim to somewhat counter Bushra Ansari Sahib's message. Listen to that message too, then we'll analyze it. Captain Imran Durrani's message contains wise things, courageous things. You'll agree with me after listening that if we hadn't heard this captain's message, we would have wandered all our lives without courage, and the Pakistani nation would have remained foolish. So the perspectives she opened for our understanding are enlightening. Let's first listen carefully to Captain Imran Durrani's message. She's very fast, like a little sister, moving like scissors. So bear with her and listen to her conversation carefully. She makes 3 important points. I'll tell you those 3 points first, then you listen to her message. She said we do not need validation. We know exactly what is right and what is wrong. I mean, the generals of the Pakistan military know everything. We neither have the space nor the need to ask anyone else. She said, we do not claim that everything the Pakistani army does is right, but whatever it does for the country's benefit. Now, the country's benefit can never be wrong, right? So in other words, what it does is right. The third thing she said is don't think that there is no accountability here. We study books here and we have accountability. These are the 3 things. Focus and fasten your seatbelt because the message is very strong, as it should be. It was meant to counter Bushra Ansari Sahib. This is not an ordinary task. So listen. Captain Imran Durrani is trying hard. Later we'll discuss where this effort was made, why and with whom. Listen to this first. You know, the Pakistan Army has an important course called Staff College. There is a book on the wars of 1965 and 1971 in that course. And do you know what is in those books? There are no praises of themselves. What is there? Accountability. Everything has accountability. Every officer of the Pakistan Army goes through that book. Why? The very first thing is self-accountability in this institution. Number 2, I didn't say the army always does the right thing. I said whatever it does in public interest. Some of us want validation all the time. But who is the strong girl in your class who everyone idealizes, who does not need validation because they know in their mind what is right and what is wrong? Where we stand today, is it because of the Pakistan Army? No, it is not. Where we stand today is a collective effort of every institution. Do not ask what your country has done for you. Always seek and ask what you have done for your country. So you have heard the 3 things. There are many other interesting things that our little sister is saying, but these 3 are very interesting. First, she said we do not need validation. We know in our minds what is right and what is wrong. She told the children that among you there is no girl who knows everything, but we know everything. We don't need validation. We know what we're doing right and wrong. You may call us right or wrong, we don't care. That was actually the slogan she wanted to say. We don't care. She forgot that part, but she delivered her message crystal clear. We don't care what you think. We don't need your validation. Secondly, she said we are not saying the Pakistani army always does the right thing, but whatever it does for the national interest. Now you tell me, national interest can never be wrong, right? So, in other words, what we do is right. And the third thing she said is that there are books about 1965 and 1971 in which there are no praises but accountability. There is punishment. She also said that every officer in the Pakistan Army goes through those books. So these 3 things, let's analyze them. I tried to recall recent events. General Sharif left. We thought we understood that you don't need validation, you don't need our intelligence. My little sister doesn't even need to explain, but they took land worth about 5 billion in Balkhi. The agricultural land was converted into a housing scheme for them. That land is worth more than 5 billion, as the locals say, because agricultural land was changed to housing plots so they can do whatever they want. Then, if we think further, General Bahwa was involved in billions in corruption and almost broke the law in the country. Elections happened within 90 days. All this is known. When a story about his corruption was made, journalists were arrested. No one asked Bashwa Sahib. Our sister, Iman Durrani, is saying there is accountability. I'm talking about recent events. No one held him accountable. Rather, whistleblowers were arrested, slapped with charges, and many had to flee the country. General Bahwa is living a lavish life with full impunity. General Raheel Sharif is with that 5 billion rupee estate. Moving on. Recently, Lieutenant General Mujamal Hussain, who was chairman of YPD, is accused of corruption worth 150 billion. He said he won't go to NAB. That's true. Maybe some validation is needed, but they say those who do right are those who do it for the national interest. Lieutenant General Munir Afzal was appointed chairman of NADRA, but was removed by Lahore High Court, which said the appointment was illegal. But the validation is needed. Those who do right and do it in the national interest continue. The decision was reversed due to national interest. Moving on, Hafiz Rahman, Major General, lied in Islamabad High Court saying no recordings are done. Cellular companies revealed the truth. He gave a false affidavit in Justice Babar Sattar's court, but recordings happen and millions are recorded every day. But no validation is needed, right? What they do for the national interest. So this Major General also told lies in the name of the national interest, and no validation needed because accountability is very high. There are many old stories too. Just look at Lieutenant General Amir, who almost became army chief but didn't. Representatives of ISI and MI wrote in a JIT report that during his time, money laundering and corruption happened through fake accounts. Action was ordered but not taken. Books with accountability were locked away during his tenure. He rose from brigadier to major general, then lieutenant general, corps commander, and almost army chief, but didn't make it. He was even about to be appointed an ambassador, demanding postings in strong countries, not smaller ones, because no validation is needed. Moving on, think where this is happening. Look carefully at this picture. The people behind show this is inside ISPR. This is not a lecture outside. The poor young students have been called inside ISPR and seated there. Their minds are being molded with these three things. This segment was recorded and edited by our little sister, who is moving like scissors. She didn't say everything cleanly. Many cuts were made, edited to produce a short, perfect message to counter Bushra Ansari Sahib's message, released the very next day to make something else viral on social media. And it did go viral, but not for the right reasons, for all the wrong reasons, which we'll explain later. They say when luck is bad, even if you sit on a camel, a dog bites you. That time has started now. Coming back, understand that the poor children sitting in front are being brainwashed. Everything is being lied about. Out of these poor people, 80% will not get jobs. They will remain unemployed. These are the children of the lower middle class and middle class who are sitting in front of us, and their minds are being manipulated. Standing in government institutions wearing uniforms, they are not thinking about whether lies are being told or the truth. Just like many unethical political groups often keep telling lies upon lies, now we have also brought institutions into politics. But I will say again and again, these people at the top have brought this. The people at the bottom will suffer the consequences. Whatever happens, this is Pakistan. In the motorway police, often people come from other police departments and work very well, pretending to be good. The institutions have a culture, and people become what you provide them with. Leadership is responsible. Let's move forward. As I said, building an image, self-accountability, every action in public interest. We said we will present some things to you so you can think about self-accountability. And if these things were not done in the national interest, then where would we have gone? We are doing it in the public interest, under the mandate. The legal scrutiny we do is in public interest, which we call national interest. Our journalists go against their own affidavits repeatedly in national interest and public interest. We do politics, topple governments, in public interest. Intelligence agencies have installed cameras in judges' bedrooms, in public interest. A fake, ridiculous case on Idat was made in public interest. Then Latif, who was a government employee, was brought to court and made to stand before Bushra Bibi's daughters, children, women, and the entire world with filthy, absurd love allegations in public and national interest. We don't need validation for this, we don't care. This is for national interest. After that, judges' families were abducted, beaten, cameras installed, all in national interest. We don't need validation for that either. Judges were appointed according to the will of court packing, and the 15th ranked judge was made Chief Justice. Justice Mansour Ali Shah was prevented from becoming Chief Justice. Other judges like Mazahir Ali Akbar Naqvi and Ijazul Ahsan were forcibly removed from the Supreme Court, and decisions were made by judges as per the will of those in power. The judiciary was seized. Don't misunderstand us. Whatever we do it in national interest. We don't need validation. Our accountability is very strict. In 90 days, elections were not allowed. Those with 17 seats were brought and put in government, including a lady who never passed any exam in her life, a complete failure from head to toe. She was made head of the largest province and told to make TikTok with blind state powers backing her. This is all done in national interest. Understand that. We don't need validation. We don't do this for any other reason. Our accountability is very strong. In national interest, the 26th constitutional amendment was passed at gunpoint. People were abducted for statements, forcibly made to leave their parties. Thieves were given NRO, and 11,000 billion rupees were forgiven. We did all this in national interest. Please don't misunderstand. We don't need validation. We cannot do wrong. Or you can say, we don't claim we don't do wrong, but whatever we do it for national interest. Then, a convicted money launderer was brought back by selling our ship, providing the ship for Mariam's surgery in Switzerland. On the other hand, if people drown in the river, it's okay. Instead of extension, a deal was made with Nawaz Sharif. The false flag operation of May 9th was done on our own people. Please don't misunderstand us. We do nothing that isn't in national interest. In the May 9th false flag, over 13,000 people were jailed, destroyed. Many died from hepatitis, women forcibly kept in prisons under false cases unless they gave statements as per our will. Because we're also doing politics, right? We are also a political party. But remember, we are doing that politics in national interest. Don't misunderstand us. So, if we do politics in national interest and someone gives statements as per political calculation, then they are released, cleared, left free. If not, they remain in jails, their lives destroyed. All this is done in national interest. Military trials of civilians for political affiliations, forcing decisions from the Supreme Court, making Pakistan rank near number 1 in terrorism, just below Burkina Faso, number 2. In national interest, we made Pakistan number 1 in law and order situations worldwide. This is Pakistan. We don't usually do this because the country should progress, but we do this in national interest. In 1971, the country was divided into two. But you need to go further back because we didn't start national interest from here. The first army chief was Ayub Khan, who broke the constitution and held a fake election of the Baluchistan regime. He created an assembly through national interest and got himself elected. Then, he became field marshal. He accused Quaid-e-Azam's sister of all kinds of things, rigged elections, forced her, humiliated her, made fake cases, called her a traitor and an agent. But don't get angry, this was done in national interest, because if it wasn't done, Fatima Jinnah would have broken the country. She was such a big traitor, and with apologies, if her brothers hadn't died, we would have dealt with them too. Sections 124, 131, 506 were all there. They were big lawyers roaming around. We had to keep them quiet, but they escaped because they went above. The sister was controlled, so in national interest, tough decisions have to be made. Iman Durrani Sahiba is our sister, just born. If she had been there then, she wouldn't have been in uniform, but maybe a sari. Telling all this is done in national interest, nothing else. Moving on, in 1971, the army chief, or Khan Sahib, did exactly what we are doing now in national interest. Seats were taken from the winning party. All this was done the same way. No need to repeat. Papers seized, statements taken forcibly, election symbols banned, everything was done. Despite this, they won. So elections were taken away and the country was divided. But we didn't break the country just like that. You people are foolish, still crying over it. It was all done in national interest. No need for validation. Then Jinnah Sahib came and imprisoned an Awami Wazir Azam in jail on false cases, just like today's Imran Khan, and they hanged him. You don't think the execution was done without national interest, right? Then Zia-ul-Haq came and passed away. Musharraf came, also did everything in national interest. Though Nawaz Sharif is our opponent, he was handcuffed and taken on a ship. Then we made a deal, gave NRO, sent him abroad after calling him very corrupt. Then we brought him back with a deal in national interest, gave him governments, and repeated everything again. We do nothing else. So about the recent clash in Gujranwala over DHA land, people protest and sometimes, sadly, people are killed. Now you might think this is all just about land issues. No, that's not it. This is done in the name of national interest. We don't need validation for our actions. Accountability is strict and, well, this is what we do. Buying islands, that's public interest. Everything we do, it's for public interest. Take today's news, for example. Back in the 1980s, the army took 250 canals of land in Shamsabad, Rawalpindi, for defence purposes. Later on, the land was made commercial and the Panorama shopping centre was built there. The landowners filed a case asking for fair market price. In 2012, the Lahore High Court ordered the Defence Ministry to vacate or compensate the owners, but nothing was implemented. Now the owners say they're just tired of this long litigation. The Lahore High Court has ordered the army and the owners to settle the dispute through dialogue. This report was given by Mr. Jimri, and it's likely printed in Dawn today. This whole thing has been ongoing since 1980, all in the name of national interest. Moving on, there's this famous slogan, "Don't ask what the country has done for you, just ask what you have done for the country." And who exactly is saying this? It's those poor folks sitting right in front of us, whose parents somehow managed to scrape together the fees for them. The rich, well, they send their children abroad. Why would they bother studying here? They say, "Don't ask what the country gave you, tell us what you gave the country." Meanwhile, in Pakistan, 20 children have died, and no one even knows where they are. 7 children drowned, and so much more is happening. Health cards have been stopped. Hepatitis rates are the highest in the world. 1.5 crore people are unemployed. Children in Sindh and South Punjab aren't getting proper nutrition. Women don't reach full weight. Child mortality and stunted growth are everywhere. Yet these children, most of whom are stunted, are told not to ask what the country gave them, but what they gave the country. Captain Sahiba, you are absolutely right to be asking this. We've done all this, but honestly, I wish there was accountability. If there had been accountability for Ayub Khan or Zia-ul Haq or Musharraf, we wouldn't be standing where we are today. We've built a $200 billion business empire, all in the name of national interest. But at the very least, there should have been accountability for breaking the constitution, but unfortunately that never happened. I just don't understand who advised this army officer to give a lecture on just 3 lines. An army officer gave this advice a couple of years ago, fresh in the military, saying, "Become media literate, understand which news is true and which is false, and it is the national responsibility not to believe any news without investigation." His message went viral. People listened, people investigated. We don't need validation for the national interest we serve. There is massive criticism and destruction. Honestly, I have never seen so much bashing before. The patience of the people has run out, especially when you bring thieves into power. Let me say it again, institutions and people are not bad. It's their leadership that gives orders and sets the environment. Every child born is good. Every new employee is good. What culture and environment do you give them? Exceptions may exist, but by and large, people want to do good work. People in institutions want to work with good intentions but end up getting destroyed. So when the constitution is broken at the top, it trickles all the way down. Captain Imran, I think you're a major, but I don't really understand stars on uniforms very well. If you are a major, believe me, I'm not calling you captain out of insult, but out of respect. You will go far with your attitude. May Allah bless you with even more success. But the Pakistani public now understands that everything is about personal interest, controlled by just a few sitting at the top, who use institutions, people and the country's safety for their own benefit. In the same way, Nawaz Sharif is doing it, Field Marshal Sahib is doing it, Zardari Sahib is doing it, and if tomorrow we end up doing the same thing, people will also hold us accountable. Whoever does it, whether it's PTI or anyone else, they will be held accountable because the public has now become wise. Well, that wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I really hope this English version helped you understand his message a bit better. Please do like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.